Set. 4, 3, 1.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday Morning Quarterback. Today, we are four pastors who love ministry, leadership, and sports. Coming all the way from the 305 PTU alum, Pastor Gus Hernandez. How you doing, sir?
Doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Gus. I can officially join you in that doctorate gang. You know, we're going to have 3 doctors on here today until Adam called sick, but it's fine because the official 4th host, John Richardson, is going to jump on with us all the way from Virginia. John, what's going on, sir?
Man, I'm just excited to be here. Glad to get the substitute. Always good to fill in for the great and wonderful Adam Denny.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dad coming in from your office today from the Music City. How's the weather down there? Is it about to rain?
The weather, you know, Tennessee weather, it goes from winter to summer. That's kind of what we're dealing with. Hot and muggy today, but still good.
That is funny. That is funny. Well, hey, this is cool because this is like the TTU throwback episode. Gus, you're a little bit more TTU OG than we are, but it's been cool reconnecting all of our Temple connections and just seeing where everybody has landed and serving the Lord. But the one thing that almost all of us have in common is that we all love sports. So we're going to jump in, and man, how fitting is it that Gus's own home team is still in the running? So we're going to start. You know, he was there for the closeout too. So
Dude,
Gus,
I was there, baby.
I'm going to give you a layup here. What are you thinking? Are you still loving your Heat? How do you think they're going to fare against the Celtics?
Man, I got to say, I'm loving the Heat right now. They're just playing some great team basketball. That's the beauty of it. It's like this relentless defense. You got Jimmy Buckets is making some incredible plays, energizing this team. They've been just proving people wrong round after round. I mean, starting with the Milwaukee Bucks upset, that was shocking. I mean, nobody thought they'd make it through that. They played a great series against the Knicks, battling through injuries, and they still are playing some incredible ball. I'm loving it. I mean, as far as home environment, one of the best places to play right here. Tough crowd.
I totally agree, Dad. What do you think about the Heat? Do you think they got a shot against the Celtics?
They have absolutely no shot at all. No, they are on borrowed time. Now, I'm gonna back up. I had no idea we would see what we're seeing out of this team, especially after losing that first round of the play-in game, and to see them turn around like that, it has been eye-opening, shocking, but I really have enjoyed it because you don't see this often. You don't see a team actually turn around and turn it on because we know that they have the horses to do it. And so just to see them turn things around, they've got a great leader on the court, a great leader in the bench. And so when you have those components and some good people that understand how to play positional basketball, these things can happen. So they've caught that fire, of course, in Miami. And I think they're going to ride it, as far as Boston when they end up losing.
John, do you buy into playoff Jimmy?
Yo, yeah, dude. How could you not? Look at the numbers, bro. Just look around. You say this guy's doing stuff that he wasn't doing 2 months ago. Like we all know it. Let's be honest. It's going to happen. I'm a little suspect of the Celtics. Jekyll and Hyde, they should have put the 76ers away early. First game, they should have won. They got blown out by like 20. It was like, what are you guys doing? And so they want to play up to their talent, which is the exact team that Miami wants to face, is play up to their talent, because certainly Celtics have more talent, but it's not about how much talent you have. It's what you're willing to play. And so I think Miami has a good shot in 6.
Ooh, in 6. Man.
Wow.
And, Gus, the weird thing was they were running under the radar all year. I was thinking, like, man, are they going to make the playoffs? Are they going to get this thing blown up? But it's good to see Kyle Lowry getting healthy again, Jimmy getting the credit he deserves. So John's going in 6. Dad, what's your number? Who you taking?
I'm going 6 for Boston. And, Miami reminds me of that 3-word term, almost good enough. And yet again, this year, they will be almost good enough. Every game will be tight. It'll be close. But I think Boston just got a little bit too much talent. I think this series, Hero being hurt, I think is really going to, come into play. They need some points.
John, is he talking about our Cowboys or Gus's Heat? I got
Hey,
there.
easy.
I mean,
Definitely the Cowboys, always the Cowboys.
gosh.
Almost.
You know, I'm torn here. I wouldn't be shocked if it go either way. I mean, bouncing out Milwaukee, I mean, nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming. So right now, I mean, on the heels of Tatum's 51, I'd have to go Miami in 7. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Heat pulled, or no, sorry, Boston in 7. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Heat pulled it off. Gus, sell us. What you think the series ends in?
I'm thinking it's going to be Heat in 7. I think Jason Tatum's the key here. He left such a bad taste in our mouth last year,
Oh
just
yeah.
an absolute dagger. We had a great battle in that series, but man, he just pulled it out. I think he can be one of those guys that he is absolutely electric when he's on, but has been known to not show up in some playoff games where he's just really cold. So, I mean, he dropped 50. He can come out the next day and like barely struggle to make 20. You never know. But
Yep.
when that guy is on, he's the game changer. I mean, he is almost unguardable when he is on fire. 6'8", pulling up from the 3 like that. It's just unbelievable, his skill set. I don't know that we have a good answer for Tatum. We really don't, 1-for-1. That's going to be the deal breaker for me. If Tatum is just having one of those epic series, there's no chance for the Heat. If he struggles just a couple of those games, I think we can pull it off in 7.
Yep, and you know Pat Riley and Spoelstra are going to come out with some creative strategy. They're going to probably muck the game up a little bit and slow the pace down. John, what's your thoughts on? We'll get down to our biggest NBA surprises so far, but let's preview the Western Conference Finals. John, do you think the Lakers have a shot at getting back to the finals?
No chance.
Ooh.
No chance. There's not a chance where they can beat Denver in 7 games. There's not enough LeBron. You could clone another LeBron, put him on the team, and hope. He is not the same Miami Heat LeBron that we saw. Certainly, he's changed. His game's changed. His defensive end has not been very strong. He gets a highlight block against Curry, and it's like, oh wow, that's great. Well, yeah, but there's been a lot of liability on the defensive end. And I just don't believe that the Joker's not going to have his way down low. He's going to exploit your boy, and the reason why is because he's too fast and too smart.
Yep.
The game just comes too natural. For sure, he's losing on the athleticism end, but we've seen him dominate guys that have been far more athletic than him and almost use their athleticism to exploit them into stuff to make them pay. And I think. Yeah, I think, and you know, people might be. I'm going to give the Lakers 1 win in the series.
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow. I think it's going to come down to AD's health, and we're going to know real quick. Does LeBron still have that potion that he can just make teams scared? We know he's not the same, but these are the series where he's going to control the pace, and can Anthony Davis stay healthy? So I think it's going to go 6 either way. I think if the Lakers win, they're going to win in 6. I think if Utah wins or Denver wins, they're going to win in 6. Man, I don't know. I think they're going to break through, and I think Denver is going to win. But I wouldn't be shocked if they just turned into a pumpkin and LeBron got to the finals one more time. Dad, what do you think?
I agree with you. I agree with John. I want to agree with John. I do not want to see LeBron win another title. I mean, I just don't want to see it. I think it's going to boil down to the same thing it boiled down with Golden State and Lakers. Can a great offense beat a great defense? And so the Denver, they got a very good offense. The difference is they're just not a bunch of shooters. And so you got the Joker, who's a big man, who John is right. He's not the most athletic, but man, he's got very athletic feet, very quick. He knows how to dance real well out there. He's got beautiful hands. He's got such a beautiful touch. And so that's going to be fun to kind of watch. But I think it's going to be, boil down to, can the Lakers score enough against Denver? They've got a potent defense. Can they score enough? So it's going to be fun to watch. And man, I am pulling hard. I mean, hard for Denver, because I don't want to hear any more comparisons between Michael Jordan and one LeBron James. So please, Denver, come on.
I mean, I don't know if it's worse than all the stuff we've been having to hear from Adam Denny about Steph being the next GOAT. So between the Warriors and the Lakers, I don't know which one I want to win less. So John's going 4-1. Dad, what's your count?
I'm gonna go 6 games, Lakers 2, Denver 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go 4-2. All right, Gus, finish us off. How do you see it playing out?
Man, I want to say Denver, but I'm going to switch it.
Ooh,
And I'm going to
okay.
say Lakers take the upset because of Stephen A. Smith.
Oh,
He poked the bear. A few weeks ago, he starts talking about this toe-to-toe matchup of Steph Curry, LeBron. If Steph wins this series, what does that say to LeBron's legacy? And here's what I've learned about LeBron. That's not a dude you want to poke.
yep.
That man is hard to bet against. He
Yeah.
has won in some very tough situations. I think they pull off the upset in 7. I think here's the determining factor. Jamal Murray is so athletic.
Mm.
If the Lakers have a good answer for Jamal Murray, there's a shot that they can pull off this upset. He's the mismatch, I think. Joker's unbelievable. We know what we're going to get there. To me, it comes down to like, what's Jamal Murray going to do in this series? He's so athletic. He has such great chemistry with the guys around him. And the last time they played, he was the guy that I saw just giving the Lakers a really tough time.
Yep.
They didn't have a good answer for him in the 2020 series. We'll see what happens. I think he's the determining factor. But I want to say Lakers go with the upset. LeBron's pissed off. He's trying to prove to himself he still has it. I think he can make it to one more NBA Finals, and after that, I don't see him making it to the finals again. This is probably his last shot, and he's going to take it.
Hey John. Did I sense a little bit of Homer there still?
Oh yeah, 100%, man. They're still waving that flag.
Yeah.
So
I
is
felt
Cleveland.
it.
So is Cleveland. So it's okay.
I saw LeBron in person for several years as a Heat fan. The dude is hard to bet against.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is set up prime for him. And he knows that if he can get over this hump, this will he'll never be Michael Jordan in my eyes, but this can surely help us bet, especially the year that he breaks the scoring record. But hey, let's pause for
But let me add one more thing.
Yeah, go
The
for it.
reason I want him to make it is because I'm believing my Heat are going to make it, and I want the Heat to beat him in his last finals ever. Just to give him one more loss.
revenge.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be nice.
One more loss. You're never Jordan. You won't be Jordan. But just for fun fact, your last loss is against your former team that you bailed on. Could be sweet.
Yeah, and
Poetic
y'all
justice
owe
for
him.
the Heat culture.
Yep, y'all owe him from the bubble too, so that'll be interesting. Hey, let's talk biggest surprises of the playoffs real quick, and I'll give you 2, and I'm sure we'll all have thoughts on this. 2 things stick out to me. The Warriors. The question is now, you're starting to hear some of the players pivot, saying we want to come back, But I think a bombshell's coming. Either Clay or Draymond is gone. Either Wiggins or Poole is gone. I would say get rid of Poole and get rid of Draymond. And Kerr said it straight up. He said, we're maxed out. We can't win with this team. I think they're going to move off some of the pieces. The question is, who does Steph want to keep? And so the whole talk has been, is the dynasty over? So that one's, I think, is interesting to watch. And then you got this whole James Harden Philly. Is Doc Rivers on the chopping block? I mean, I personally think Embiid was hurt, but man, he showed such a poor effort yesterday. Very disappointed in the Sixers. So those are the 2 things I'm watching. John, what are you watching?
I agree with you. The Warriors. I don't think Draymond's going to go. I think it's going to be Clay. I think you can pick up a guy that shoots as well and plays better defense than Clay. Now, if we were talking about Clay 5, 6, 7 years ago, we're talking about a whole different conversation. But I think it's easier to replace him than the other 2. I think it's Draymond gets you into a lot of trouble, and he's very, very chaotic in his own right is the best word I can use for it. But the fact is, he does a lot of things, little things that affect the game over the whole game, that it's hard for another guy his size and speed and pace to create that same kind of environment. And so I think that's it. The other one is it was just all about Ja Morant here posting up another video flashing a gun. So maybe this is more it's not postseason, right? But it is postseason. It's definitely not playoffs. But you do this not long ago. You have a falling out, you have a conversation, everything's good, and you now revisiting the same issue. I think the step forward for him, and I'm not him. I'm not super athletic. I don't dunk basketballs, so we understand that. But if your character doesn't start to match your competency, then you become a liability and we'll never get to see greatness. And I'm not quick to put a person up on a pedestal, and I'm not quick to bury a person. I know there's a learning and growth, and he's still really young, but I'm just shocked, very shocked. Like, delete Instagram, throw your cell phone out the window, like just make decisions. So that's probably a big surprise. not playoff related, but
Oh
postseason
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, no, and the real question is how long is his suspension going to be? Because we know it's coming. Dad, what do you what are your thoughts? What's been a surprise so far? What are you watching?
Well, I agree with John with Golden State. I think Clay's gone. I think Poole's gone, but I do not think the dynasty is over. I think it's going to pivot because those two individuals, they make a lot of money. And so we know that Golden State, they have a great culture there. And so I think you're going to have a lot of people very interested in playing there. And so if you have a lot of takers and you have a lot of money, and we know that, they played hard. They were close. They're still close. So if you take that money and you invest that into two individuals that want to come and play some good defense, that can be a stretch four, and can still score, I think that they can be right back in the mix. The other thing I'm watching is two things. What's going to happen with Philly? Because I think they need a winner. And I think they have two great stars and neither are winners. I think that is apparent now. So I'm going to watch to see how that transpires and if they even have a coach. So that whole process may be starting from scratch. And I'm keeping my eyes on Phoenix. They don't have a coach. They have two big time scorers. And outside of that, they don't have anything at all. So that's going to be interesting to watch. So I think NBA is going to be kind of fun to watch what happens after everything's said and done, and then see how things transpire next year. So it's going to be kind of fun to see how things happen.
Starting to hear the rumblings of Ty Lue. He seems to be the top candidate. And, Monty Williams, who's a super strong Christian, is going to get a job somewhere. Gus, what's been your biggest surprise so far?
Man, honestly, the ending of that Lakers Warriors series was so frustrating. I mean, how do you inbound the ball to Draymond and have him drive to the paint when you're down by 3 and then force a turnover? Like, I don't know. For that reason alone, I'm getting rid of Draymond. But that's just me. I'm cutthroat like that. I was like, get that man off my team. If I see anyone go, I'd get rid of that guy. I mean, that makes no sense in the moment. Yeah, he does so many intangibles, and yet he does the most boneheaded things sometimes in the worst moments. I'm wanting to go out with Steph Curry touching the ball last, not Draymond driving the paint down by 3. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. But for that reason, I'd go out. When I think about great players, though, Steph Curry definitely rises to the top. And here's one of the things why I think he has another championship or 2 left in him. Most guys, they come into the league dominating with physical strength, speed, and agility in their youth. And then as they age, they try to master an outside shot, extend their lifetime, extend their gameplay. We've seen that with even the Jordans, right? He developed that fadeaway later in his career, mastered it. It was incredible. Steph has always been a lethal shooter and just seems to keep getting better as a shooter. And I think just health-wise, if he stays healthy, he's always going to be a great shooter. And for that reason, he's going to be able to have a long career, barring any crazy injuries. So I think they can still put the right pieces around him and get another championship. He is just an absolute lethal shooter. That part of his game keeps getting better and better, which seems crazy at this stage to be that good. And it's like, what is this new challenge? Like shooting even further and having the same percentage? I don't know. I mean, there's no spot crossing half court where he's not lethal. He can shoot from anywhere. And so I think they can put the right pieces around him and win another championship.
Yep, will be fun to watch. Gus, I think it wouldn't be fair of us to have you on and not talk a little bit of baseball. For those of you that don't know, Gus was not only a player, but a coach. Now, I know that there's confusion. You, unlike others who might claim that they were actually a player at Tennessee Temple, Paul Lasso, who wasn't, but Gus actually played and coached. So, Gus, what's catching your eye right now? Sorry, I love you, Paul. I had to throw it in there. What's catching your eye in Major League Baseball?
Dude, what's catching my eye is how depressing the Marlins are. I mean, I just went to a game, and I think out of the 4,000 fans in the stadium, I think 3,000 were cheering for the Braves last week. It was rough. I mean, I just saw a sea of blue seats, empty, and then Braves fans. No, in all seriousness, I'm a Yankees fan. Struggling a little bit. I really do like their young shortstop Volpe. I think he's going to be a great future star. This is going to be a rebuilding year, developing some of that young talent. He's a really fun, exciting prospect that I'm excited to see grow up into that position. And I think he's going to be a really good player for the Yankees in years to come. Judge is going to be great. I think he's going to have another solid year. I don't think he'll repeat what he did last year with home runs, I think he's going to have a very productive season. Where the Yankees struggle is pitching. Man, the rotation is just not quite where I want it to be, and the bullpen has been a question mark for the Yankees the last couple seasons. They're not a World Series team yet, and I think it's because of the bullpen.
Hey Gus, while we're talking to you for a second, can you take us behind the disdain in Miami for the Marlins organization? I mean, I love Dan Lebatard, but man, it seems like the community. I mean, and Derek Jeter. What's the truth
Dude,
behind all that?
the city hates them. I mean, for two reasons. In '97, they win a World Series only 4 years after being an MLB team. I mean, they launched in '93. They assemble a great squad. They win the World Series. What do? They sell off the entire team the next year. So you get a fan base to root for this team, which has predominantly been a Yankees territory because this is where the spring training for the Yankees has been in South Florida for decades. Most Floridians, Yankees fans. Now we have our own team. We're like, all right, we'll cheer for them. You win a World Series. I got to go. It was epic. It was an amazing World Series against the Indians. They sell off the team. Well, sure enough, they go back in 2003. They win it again. What did they do in 2004? Sell off the team. It's like the city just got so fed up with it. The final straw was when they tore down the Orange Bowl right in Little Havana, right in the heart of the city, and then used city taxpayer money to build this stadium for a private business person. That's where the city then got really frustrated with just the dynamics of an iconic stadium that used to house the 72 Dolphins, the Miami Hurricanes, leveled, a beautiful new baseball stadium, which the Marlins Park is beautiful. It is a really cool stadium. Always sits empty, but it's beautiful. City taxpayer dollars got used. Some shady business deals with the city happened. Some of it got leaked. People have all these different theories. Either way, they hate the management because they've sold off the team twice after building a championship team that could have been a dynasty. Spend all their money on one season, get a championship, sell off everybody, trade everybody. Like, it's hard to get behind that. It's like you don't want to build a legacy, just a one-off championship, and boom. And then the whole debacle with the stadium. I mean, just getting rid of a historic landmark, to pop this new one, and then get the citizens to pay for it for a private business entity. It's like, nah, not cool.
Hey, we'll take them off your hands. Well, there's been a lot of rumors going around in Nashville. We'll take them.
You can have them.
Show you a good.
We will keep our Yankees.
That's funny, Dad. John, you got any quick baseball takes?
I don't have I'm up here in Nationals camp and they're just getting demolished by every team they play. So, but man, shout out to the Orioles. Turning it around. Like, how do you not cheer for the Orioles underdog team? Like, you feel like they're scrapping along. I am excited for them, excited for their fan base, excited for them to do well. And so far they've done well on the road and at home. They're not playing better in one place or the other. And so I'm excited about that. And that's not something that is static, but this time as we walk into baseball season, you kind of have to make up statements until it gets a lot more serious. So that's where I'm at.
Yep. No, that's a good take. Dad, what you think?
Well, the good thing about the Braves is they're not in a hole. So it seems like every year they start off slow and they're got to work their way up. This year, they're starting off nice and strong. I like where they're at. I like their team, got young, old, and so keep an eye out. But watch out for the Dodgers. You heard it here first. Somewhere about halfway through the season, they may be getting a pretty good player from LA in the Angels that's going to put them over the top. They are, I think, the 5th or 6th in the amount of money that they spent, and that's not them here recently. I think they're putting away some money, waiting for a trade from maybe the best player in the league. He's a great pitcher. He's a great hitter. And so there are rumors out that he could be going to the Dodgers, take them over the top. And you heard it here. First take.
Every year we got to hear about the Dodgers. Yeah. Every year we got to hear about the Dodgers. And we'll see if they can get Ohtani. We'll see. Hey, real quick take, because, yesterday was a pretty important day. We got the NFL schedule release. So last episode, we had Shane Pruitt on here bloviating about his Miami Dolphins, Gus, and all that they were going to do. And he's from Dallas, Texas. How that happened, I don't know. But, John, let's go with your new team, the Panthers. What do you think? How's y'all schedule look?
It's not the new team, guys. The Redskins, well, whatever they're calling that team north of me currently, just sold out to another owner. So anyway, man, what's not Bryce Young? Let's go, man. This is the year. You got the most beatable division in all of football, I think. Like you got a young quarterback coming in. I think he's probably, he's going to put the pieces together. I'm excited. I'm excited to cheer, maybe attend a game or two this year on my own time. And so I'm excited to see what happens. But I am amped. It's going to be a great year. I think you can win 10. I think you can win 10.
Whoa.
The division is so bad. I think you can win 10.
Good.
Who's going to beat them? Who in the division is going to beat them?
Yep.
Atlanta's not.
Yep. Adam will definitely.
You're not worried about Tampa? I heard they got a new quarterback out there.
Baker
Brady's
Mayfield.
thinking about coming out of retirement again.
Yeah. Goodness gracious.
Watch out for Baker.
Gus, we had a good spirited debate on Tua on whether to keep him or not. We're team Tua. I hope he can make it through. I just don't know what the head injuries, but what do you think is looking like for your Dolphins this year?
Man, we love Tua. My concern is really his health. Like, this city is legit concerned. It's a conversation. Anybody who's watching the Dolphins and talks Dolphins in the city, they legit bring up his health. Like, if he takes another strong hit like that, you really do get concerned for his future and his well-being. I think he has great skills. I think he has great talent. The receiving core they put around him is really fun to watch. Jalen Waddle, what an incredible receiver, and he's just going to keep getting better. So he has great tools all around him. It's just a matter of, can he stay healthy for an entire season? And can we protect the quarterback from taking a big shot? I think his future's at risk, honestly, from a health standpoint. I don't know. If he was like a family member, what would I be counseling him? I don't know. I'm leaning towards probably not playing football. Honestly, just some of the last things he's had to deal with were really scary from a health perspective.
Yeah, I agree. But the good thing is y'all got a good coach in Mike McDaniel, and that guy's pretty sharp. Guys, I will tell you, last week we were in the motherland, and we were there for Watermark Conference, and we just happened to stumble over to the Cowboys practice facility. We just happened to roll up on the practice field. We were looking like a bunch of stalkers, looking through like tree holes, and middle of the pack Dak happened to be right out there working on his accuracy, and all that. And so, Dad,
his hip twists.
Yeah, his hip twist and his Nike deal, and the Cowboys schedule is looking pretty fair. I feel like every year we're like, worst 10-6, best case scenario 12-4. Which, what does that mean? The playoffs? I don't know. But Dad, what do you think about the schedule?
We have a three-word term too. This is it. This is it. This is the year. This is the year. I'm here to tell you.
This is the year McCarthy's going to get fired if he doesn't do something.
No, this is it. This is the year. I hate to say it, but we're going to roll through Carolina. We're going to roll through Miami. So these two boys here, y'all going to face some defeats. I agree with you, John. I think it's fun times for Carolina. I think Miami's going to have a good year. It really depends on your QB. But I think the Cowboys are ready and primed for a special year. We had a great defense. I'm putting it out there.
Let's stop right here. Let's stop right here. I was on about this time last year, okay? And I heard the same narrative. And so I'm not concerned. Feel free to continue on. I want to hear why.
I just want to know, do you think Dak is a special quarterback for you guys to have a special year?
Wait, I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why. Okay, we had a great defense. We got better. We have two great corners. We got better in our run stop. Our defensive end right now, I don't know if you've seen reports. He is away from the team, and he said, I am not a linebacker anymore. I'm a defensive end. And so he is, you got to admit, man, he is the second coming of LT, and I think he is really coming. So he's brought a change in that DNA. And so that defense is going to be legit. Now, going to our offense, I think if you put the ball in Dak's hands too much, I really think he's a great passer, but he's got that every 15 passes, he makes that little blip. So if you can confine him, and for us to get back into that running game, which McCarthy wants to bring, where you can kind of, play like they played with Aikman. And so keep that passing game combined. Don't allow him to pass, because he always makes that mistake. So if you can confine him and play through the run game, through that defense, I think we're going to be okay. And so we're very complete very strong team, and I can see us making that next leap. So watch out, Cowboys are coming.
Gus, we call that Cowboys prosperity gospel right there. We buy
Yeah.
into it
Well,
every year.
my uncle is a diehard Cowboys fan, so I've grown up with it my whole life. It's our running joke. He's like, "This is the year, right?" He's like, "You got it. You know it." I was like, "Okay, I'm just making sure you still haven't changed." Like, this is
I'm
the year.
just glad he itemized everything so that way, come December, we can play this back and see if those statements are true. So
Yeah.
let him
I
know.
will say this, John. I will say this. I'm a little worried about our running back. And so I think our line's going to be there. I think we shored up our receivers. We'll see if our new tight end works out. But our running back, we don't have that bell cow. You know, he's kind of prone to injury. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
Israel.
I think Joe, you made a great point too. If Dak always gets in trouble when he tries to do too much, and there are certain parts in the game where he just tries to do too much, and that's usually where his mistake comes in. So you're absolutely right. If they can manage the game better, not put him in that spot where he feels like he's got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually when they play well. It's whenever he tries to just do a little bit too much and just makes that one. And he makes that pick, or he forces a pass he shouldn't.
Yep. Hey, Israel found the promised land eventually. That's all I'm clinging to. I just at this point, I'm just praying.
Just took 40 years, you know.
That's in my life. Hey, we're on like year 27. Basically my whole lifetime. So we'll get there one of these days. But hey, let's.
The Cubs can win it. You know, the Cowboys can win it.
There's still hope. There's only a few more black cats, but hey, let's segue to our ministry and leadership segment. Gus, for those of you, or for those people out there who have never met you or know what you're doing, would you tell us a little bit about your family, where you're planted, and then finally, and I know you have one because we ask every preacher on here, what is your biggest preaching blunder? So take it away, sir.
Oh man. Dude, so I'm currently in Miami, Florida. So my family and I, we moved back to the city of Miami at the end of 2020, and we started a new church called Reality Church Miami, along with a friend of mine named Carlos Lolet and his wife, Cassie. I get to serve here as the executive pastor and as a teaching pastor as well. And then I also serve with the SEND Network and the North American Mission Board as the National Director of Sending Churches, and just get to help mobilize churches to do more church planting and also help with a lot of disciple-making resources, training, and sending labs. So really pumped about what I get to do in the ministry world. As I think through my biggest preaching blunder, it was probably my first sermon. It was the funniest thing. It's like I started sensing a call to ministry in high school. I started telling my student pastor about that. And I went to one of those small Baptist churches, like, cool, you feel called to ministry, you're preaching in a month. And I'm like, whoa, what? Like, you mean like in the student ministry, or like, no, they're like on Sunday. I was like, what? And so I work on this message with my student pastor for weeks. I've got all my notes typed up there, and I stand up there to preach. I think I lasted 3 minutes and 45 seconds, but it felt like the longest 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Like, I'm going through it. I finished the entire thing. I'm shaking. I'm nervous. I'm sweating. I come off the stage, and everybody's just kind of like shocked. And the worship pastor gets up and he's like, "Hey guys, we're going to have one of those nights where we just sing worship songs. Let's go ahead and call us out." When I sit there shaking on the front row, my pastor leans over. He's like, "That's all you have?" I was like, "Did I go too long?" He's like, "You didn't make it. I don't think you made it 5 minutes." I was like, "We budgeted 30. I was like, "Really?" It felt like an eternity. It's like, bro, I was like, whew, it was bad. And so that was probably one of my funniest moments, because I swore I had enough content to preach for an hour. And I spoke like 5 minutes or less. They said it was less than 5 minits. And I believe them, because that worship pastor, poor man, had to lead like an extra revival, just trying to like, all right, let's sing 10 more songs and fill this gap.
That's hilarious. Guys, I gotta say, I love Ringo, Georgia, where I live, but man, if there was any other place that the Lord ever called me, just based on scenery, it'd be the 305. And I get jealous looking at all your Instagram stories. Gus is like down there in like Brickell or something, and Biscayne Bay is his backdrop, like on the water. If you've never been to Miami, you just don't know. And I know enough people that have worked in Miami that in church, small group ministry, man, it's a different world out there. But man, very fruitful, and always cool hearing about what the Lord is doing, and just cool seeing your love for your home city. And so, Gus, you shared a little bit about you're a new member of the team at NAM, North American Mission Board, over the sending churches. Can you just share a little bit about like what that entails, and and what you've learned and what you're seeing, not only in our convention, but what the Lord is just doing across the country.
Yeah, man, it's been beautiful. Over the last 13 years, the Sun Network has been able to plant 10,000 churches, which is just awesome. When you think about just there's a need everywhere. And so we're never going to get into this battle. It's like, well, there's more need here. All people everywhere need the gospel, need Jesus. What the Send Network's trying to do is think through like some strategic areas where we can see multiplication and church development, disciple making take root, and then start to impact an entire community. And so we're seeing some beautiful things there with just church planting. It's starting to slowly change the landscape too of the SBC. It's like more than half of last year's baptisms occurred at church plants for the entire convention. That's a beautiful thing. So like starting these new churches is engaging more people, reaching more people. And we're starting to see some awesome, awesome fruit now as these churches are not only planting to get established, but they're already planting thinking like, hey, we want to plant and establish, and we also want to start another church. And so they're thinking like, as we start this one, they're already thinking about the one they want to start somewhere else. And so developing a leadership pipeline within your church, residencies, whatever it looks like, but to help, discover, develop, and deploy planters to start more churches in North America is at the core of what we're trying to do.
Mm. Gus, one of the things that's a hot topic right now is just the multi-ethnic church, and I'm reading through Derwin Gray's book on that, and he's kind of foretelling of all of the different refugees and nationalities coming in. And I feel like 2 years ago in Nashville, they highlighted that a large number of the new church plants were different ethnicities. I mean, Asian and Latino and African American, just super cool. And so just kind of projected forward of what ministry will look like, where we're used to, mostly white churches here in the Bible Belt, and the faces of the SBC is changing. Are you kind of obviously you see that in Miami, but I just thought that was a fascinating point.
No, absolutely. I think Miami is like a glimpse into the future for the rest of the United States. I mean, we're an anomaly right now, but I don't think the rest of the US is too far off. I mean, over 60% of Miami's population was born in a different country. So that's the largest percentage breakdown of any North American city, where more than half your population is foreign born, but it calls your city home. I can see a lot of major cities getting close to that in the next decade or two as, just the landscape of our country slowly changes. And I got to travel to Nebraska last week, and I was actually floored, right? So here's a little Cuban American kid landing in Omaha, hanging out in Lincoln, Nebraska later. But when I was walking through Omaha, I was amazed at the diversity that I was seeing at the park. Like I just went for a walk through downtown, wanted to hang out, see the city a little bit before I did the event that I was there for. And I was blown away by the diversity that I witnessed in the middle of Omaha, Nebraska. And so it was like, if you're starting to see it in some of those areas, it's going to be hitting up the major cities, and it's sooner enough, it's going to affect all the states. And so, yeah, I think going forward, we have to be mindful of diversity, be mindful of multi-ethnic culture. I think Derwin's book is excellent. I think some of the stuff that Brian Laritz is doing, if you follow him, and just some of the stuff he's doing for Send Network in that space is very powerful.
Dad, any thoughts, questions?
Yeah, we're going through that right now. We had an opportunity to start a Hispanic ministry here, and it's one church, two languages, and it's been fun to watch that. God provided a Hispanic pastor here, and to see people coming in and the reaction of languages, background, experiences, but to see the commonality is always stronger. And so right now, I think it's interesting to watch churches begin to wrestle with that, especially here in Nashville. There's a lot of nationalities, and you don't think so, because what you believe to be true is what you see. But what I'm learning is a lot of times different nationalities within the city, they kind of stay somewhat underground, if you will. And if you're not looking for it, you don't see it. And so that has allowed me to begin to really kind of see not just the city, but our community. And there's a lot of nationalities there. And I think it's time for the church, we're probably behind the times, to at least begin to think through how can we reach the different people groups in our community, because it starts there. Because if you don't see it, then you're not going to think about it. And once you start thinking about it, you really begin to pray and ask God to help you lead in that. But I don't think that churches are beginning to they're not seeing that yet. And so my prayer is that people in leadership take a step back, see their community, and really begin to meet the needs of the community, not just what you think the need of the community is.
John?
I think in our context, what you're starting to see is you see obviously historic congregations beginning to dwindle, and a lot of them are dwindling. They're in neighborhoods that are multi-racial, ethnic groups that have moved into the area, and the churches have not adapted and said, hey, let's reach our community. And so right now you have this revitalization happening in our communities. But you're revitalizing, not sending a whole bunch of people from your church there because that community is unreached with the gospel, likely made up of people that were born even outside the U.S. or definitely outside the state. And so you're starting to see that begin to take shape. And I think it's a beautiful thing because when you're talking about bringing in new life into something, you don't have to necessarily rebuild it the way it was. And for some people, that's difficult. But in a lot of ways, I think it provides a lot of beauty and insight. And so our church looking for opportunities to partner with congregations that need to replant or revitalize within their community as their community changes in a whole bunch of different worlds, right? A lot of different affluencies in those communities in a way that you're like, how do we clearly articulate the gospel, not just traditions, but articulate the gospel, create a compelling vision of ministry from that gospel, and then realize that we can unite around this, not based on commonalities of how we grew up or experiences we had, but a truthfulness of the gospel and our allegiance to Christ. And I think what you're going to get are healthier, more fluid churches that create a better unifying mark of identity within the community that people are going to walk into and be like, why are you guys all here? In a way that they can't in some of the historic churches in our neighborhoods.
Gus, I'll even say just from an SBC standpoint of view, or even the people that I know that have heard about you or met you, I'm super happy that you were in that spot because you're the perfect person, just full of your nationality and your heritage, but also just a strong theological foundation and voice to be at that table of where it's going. So just from an SBC standpoint, that's super encouraging.
Thank you for those kind words, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, let's shift gears to our last question. And one of the cool things is bringing different people on. Everybody has different passions and things that maybe they're known for in ministry. And I will say you guys, more than any two I know, if you guys were to cut you open and there was one word to come out, it would be discipleship. And both of you, just from I've always admired the many people that have come from or drawn from you guys as well that you've invested in or discipled. And I remember just being in college and just kind of watching and really soaking that up. And you guys were really at least pioneers of that in our circles. And then now seeing some of those people that are planted across the country serving, and it goes back to you guys seeing a little bit of potential in them. Dad, you the same thing, kind of how John got in ministry. But specifically John and Gus, you two. So I asked this question because I feel like this is something that we always need to come back to. I feel like a lot of our listeners, they're either pastors, ministers, or just lay members or people following Christ. And here's the question that we'll end on today. And Gus, I'll start with you. What would you say to someone who wants to start discipling somebody but doesn't know how to or where to start?
Man, that's a great question. I usually do a couple of different questions when I'm meeting with someone to help them kind of just unlock. First, I try to explain it in its simplest terms. I was like, in this journey, you're literally just taking from what you have and who you are in Christ, and you're helping to impart that to someone else. We say this phrase here in our ministry, disciple making is like intentionally entering into someone's life. So first and foremost, help them know Jesus as Lord and Savior, right? So that's the first part of the journey. The second is just to teach them to obey his commands. And that's as simple as you can make disciple making, is intentionally entering into someone's life to help them know and follow Jesus, and then teach them to obey his commands. When I'm helping someone think through what to do, I always begin with the end in mind. What do you want this person to become? And once you have a clear picture of that, then you can reverse engineer and then help them get there. And so for us in our ministry, we want to help people become disciples who can make other disciples. So we want them to be a disciple maker. Knowing that, then we come back and we start the journey of how am I going to help that person learn to follow Jesus intimately, passionately? And how am I going to help them obey his word, obey his teachings? And how am I going to equip them to be able to teach someone else to do the same thing? And so it can look very different. There's not one silver bullet that is the catch-all perfect way to do discipleship. I think it starts with, an availability. Are you making yourself available to invest what you know, what you do, and invite somebody else on that journey? Kind of an illustration I use is like the difference between a travel agent and a tour guide. A travel agent will book you on a flight and send you somewhere else, but it's different than a tour guide. A tour guide has been on this journey, is currently on this journey, and is inviting you to follow him. As a disciple maker, you're trying to be a tour guide. You're not a travel agent. You're going to say, well, just read this book and do this thing. No, it's like, hey, come follow me as I follow Jesus. And I'm on this journey. I'm pursuing him, and I want you to come with me. And doesn't mean that you've got all of life figured out. Doesn't mean you have all the answers. You're on the trail with him, but you've been down this trail and you know where you're going. And so those are some of the things that I share with people. I mean, there's a whole lot more, but that's kind of where I start.
No, that's great. John?
Yeah, I could echo obviously a lot of what Gus has shared. I've both seen it happen within a church context and even outside church context in campus ministry and some other stuff. And so could really resound on there. I think one of the questions I always have to wrestle with for me is looking at the opportunity to say, I don't need to just invest in someone else's life. I need someone to invest in my life, right? Like, so I need someone to disciple me. And so if I just see it as a chance to go, okay, what do I possess that I can impart to someone else? Then we miss half of the conversation, because there are certain aspects about the walk with Christ that someone else does better or more naturally that you need in your life. And so typically when someone asks, hey, I'm looking to disciple a couple of people, what can I do? I would, in addition to the questions that I would probably lead off with, like Gus has shared, I'd say, tell me some things are going on in your life that you need someone to walk with you to be able to be a better follower of Christ. How do you need to obey? Where do you need to obey more? Where do you need accountability? What things come easy to you? Because in that way, you can look at people and look for people that you would say, hey, I want to invest my life in you, but I need you to also invest into my life. And I've seen you do this exceptionally well. And what that does is give that disciple some confidence, not of just saying, well, I'm the project to be invested into, but you've already seen something inside of me that you want emulated in your own life. And now we're partners in this, instead of I am the teacher, you're the student. And so I think if you can also contribute that aspect of looking at it from your side and saying, man, they are great with people. And I want to be better engaged relationally to shepherd people the way they do naturally. And I need to spend time with them to see how they do that. And so I'm going to invite them on this journey with me, not only to impart all that I have, but also to gain from them everything that the Lord has blessed them with, and to truly be the church, right? Like, I'm not an individual making disciples. The Great Commission is given to the church. And so we as a church make disciples, and we can't do that. We don't possess all the knowledge or all the gifts to do it on our own.
That's good. And Dad, before I pass to you, one thing I think that I learned from both of you guys is a part of that journey is you guys have done a great job of making spiritual formation personal. And I think part of the reason people were drawn to you guys is because the root of your walk and the North Star you're pointing to is the Word. And so teaching people how to have that love for the Word, and seeing you guys' love for the Word. And then that's one of the tricky things. I mean, I feel like everybody's different. For some people, discipleship's just trying to get them to come to church on Sunday and quit cussing. For some of them, a lot of in my season right now, it's trying to get them to read the Bible for the first time. And so the spiritual formation can be a little tricky. And so that's something that I've really learned and peeled back from you guys. And then Dad, I feel like, you've been discipling for years. Maybe we didn't have the language for it or around it. But as far as an investment, and it might look a little bit different, but what would you say to someone who's looking to start?
Well, I'm gonna broaden it a little bit, because I can't add to what these guys had shared, but I want to broaden it to disciple making in daily living. And because I think a lot of times it's not just having, moments where you're at a coffee shop and you're investing. Those are hugely important and needed. But I also think it's important that Christians, particularly as you begin to mature, spend your life dropping little treasures in people's laps hearts and minds everywhere you go and in everything that you do. And so for me, that's something that I have just learned and tried to learn and tried to be aware, spiritually aware of moments that I get with people. And so because we spend, our life with a circle of people, and they change as life goes on. But as I'm around people, I try to listen to where they are, what they're going through, and I don't try to force it, but I want to be available to, as I'm around certain people, see where they're at, and see how I can invest any way and in any, sometimes I'll hear of things going on in marriages, so I'll, rather than just kind of hear it and say, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, I try to throw out some thoughts, some direction, and so then you move on to somebody else, and then you're hearing and you're listening, and so for me, I try to invest and disciple in little moments and little areas and little things that I say. And what I found is that people appreciate that and they come back. And so that way you're able to disciple in life, whether they're saved, unsaved, mature, less mature, early on, because you're spiritually aware of where people are in your world. And so when you have those things and you have multitudes of people, even within your church context that understands that, then we're all helping each other. So I think it's important, particularly for leaders and particularly for pastors, that it's not just these moments that you're imparting, wisdom, for 3 or 4 people that you're fully discipling, but that you spend your life discipling these things. But you can't do it unless you think through it, because if not, then you're just trying to live through your life, through issues, problems, things you're leading through, and you miss those moments when it's just one question, or if you're listening, or if you're not listening, you can miss that statement that is said where you can impart some wisdom. And so sometimes it's 2 minutes, 1 minute, sometimes it's 30 seconds. But I think the more that we can do that as leaders, the more we can share some of these insights that God has given us. And then we allow God to take what is said and then utilize it past our time with them.
Gus, final thoughts?
There's so many good things being shared in the Zoom chat. I would say a challenge to the people is just start the journey. I was like, people can overthink something to death and overanalyze, and then we don't do anything. I would say if God has already commanded us to do it and he's given us everything we need to do it, just do it. Just get out there and start investing in people. You're going to learn along the journey. You'll refine, you'll tweak it, you'll get better at it, but you got to do it. You just got to start investing in people, giving yourself away and trusting it to others. I'll say this, I call it the leadership paradox. There are some people, sadly, that get into church work and they think the secret to being in that organization a long time is just keeping the things that they can do well to themselves. And they think that's what's going to make the church or the organization keep them, because they can only do certain things. I say the best leader in an organization, the one that is truly irreplaceable, is the one who is good at replacing himself. That's the paradox, right? The person who's able to take what he's good at, invest it, and teach someone else to do it, model it, live it. That's the person I want to keep around. He's like, man, that person is able to develop other people to do the things that he does well. And I would just challenge any leader here. It's like, man, give yourself away, invest in others, teach them to love God, teach them to obey God, and be on mission with you. This is the life. This is what he's called us to do. And it's not that complicated. As far as the word, that's the central textbook for discipleship. I mean, John and I have had so many conversations about this through the years. That is our passion. And for me, it comes from 2 Timothy 3:16 and 17. A lot of people quote verse 16, which we love. All scripture is inspired by God. We know the things that it's useful for. It's verse 17 that gets me, that the man of God may be fully equipped for every good work. Everything you need to live the life God has called you to live is in the word. I don't have to sit here wondering what other cool book or resource I have to add to my arsenal to be the disciple Jesus wants me to be. It really should start with opening up your scriptures, letting the Spirit of God minister to you through the word of God. And everything that God wants you to know to live the life that he's called you to live is in the word. It's right there. And that's where I start with people. Like get them into the word. If you can do that, you'll see great things as a disciple maker. Just let them start cultivating a love for God's word, intaking the scriptures. Let the Spirit of God use the word to minister to them, to shape them, to challenge them, to convict them, to mold them into the image of Christ. And that's really where I tell people to start. Just get into it, just get started, and start with the word.
Get started, start today. Gus, we appreciate it. We're going to have you on about midway through the Dolphin season to catch up. Hope everybody has a great day. We have a special guest coming up in about 2 weeks. See y'all later.